What is up, sports fans? Welcome back to another episode of Pez's Picks. I'm Jeff Hartman, joined by the man who snowed in with the picks. That's Pez out there in Jersey. Pez, you staying alive out there?
Part-time Vermonters, Jeff. This is normal business for us. The wife and the kid and I, we reject the technological advancements of snowblowers. We go shoveling, Jeff, which we'll talk about in our top five a little more. But we shoveled our driveway, our neighbors, my mother-in-law's. What a great day. You're out in the snow. You're getting a little workout. I know you're a fitness guy. I mean,
Yeah.
what better workout? You got to be careful, though, with the back and, with the heart reaching down. So we take precautions, but you got to take breaks. That's all. And
Yeah.
you work out and a Tahoe-like snow, Jeff. This is a rarely seen snow in New Jersey. Not to make light of the situation, but an avalanche causing snow very heavy, very dense. And when I was shoveling, I was thinking those poor people in that tragedy in Tahoe last week, where my wife and I have skied many times. The entire slabs fall off of those mountains, and when you're shoveling, you can pick up a hexagonal shape. Imagine a football field wide of that coming down, and the unpreventable tragedies. The prevention is not being there, of course, but a heavy, dangerous type of snow. So everybody, be careful. Slow it down. You don't need to be driving around, right? Where's everybody going?
Yeah.
People get this cabin fever. They want to go driving around. If you're not doing some sort of activity or sport, stay home. Not bad. We got the fire. We got the Hanson brothers. We got a commercial right now, of course, but Slapshot the movie, Jeff. I mean, what better week to have Slapshot the movie than right now?
Well, let's get into it. Let's talk about hockey. Everyone's talking about the United States, both the men's and the women's, mind you, as they claim gold over Canada, both, again, men and women. It took extra frame, but still, what were your takeaways from the Olympic hockey?
Amazing. I was, I think, 5 or 6 years old. My mom reminded me we watched that Miracle on Ice, Jeff, which was the semifinal. Correct? I mean, I don't think most people know that it was the semifinal. I don't remember it being the semifinal, but I remember jumping up and down. My brother and my parents. So, what's it been? About 45 years, and we're there again. Women's hockey. To think we're in a world now, Jeff, where basketball, the United States, starting to get pushed a little bit by the world, and now we're dominating hockey. I mean, it's an ever-changing thing. Tiger Woods coming back to the Masters, Jeff. All kinds of stuff are happening in this spring. What a game, though. I mean, both games, the women's game and the men's game. What games, overtime. Could we have had a more 80s finish to the men's game, Jeff? We've got a guy, 2 teeth knocked out. He's got the hair flowing like Youngblood, 1988, the classic Rob Lowe hockey movie with Recchi. I think he stick Recchi in the locker room. Jeff, what could we have asked for better, especially 8, 9 in the morning when you're in New Jersey? We all went to bars, Jeff. We were around the corner at our pub, and just a great way to kind of end winter and start getting into spring a little bit here. I mean, we couldn't have asked for a better Olympics, Jeff.
I thought it was a great Olympics. In terms of the men's hockey, there's a lot of people drawing parallels to that 1980 team. And I just want to say, like, if you don't know anything about it, at least go back and watch the movie Miracle, and you'll understand how there is no comparison. These are NHL players that are playing for their country, which doesn't diminish their feat. What you had in 1980 were college players who graduated but weren't going to be going to the NHL, and they were playing against a team in the Soviet Union who were basically professionals that were beating the NHL All-Star teams. And they somehow, some way, these group of college kids beat a professional team from the Soviet Union. They're apples and oranges, trying to compare the 2026 gold medal to the 1980 team, which, by the way, you're right, it was a semifinal win, but that was the gold medal game per se, and they just had to win one more game. You can't, there's no comparison, in my opinion. None. Absolutely none.
I think the only comparison would have been in 1992 if the Estonian basketball team would have beaten the Dream Team, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there were, I mean, maybe 1 or 2 Detlef Schrempf for some guy, but very few international NBA players. And that Dream Team went in and rolled by 50, I think, every game. So it would have been exactly the same. And
yeah.
we know now the Russians were on steroids too, Jeff. I saw Rocky IV. That Ivan Drago, he was sharing that stuff. So you had an amazing powerhouse juggernaut team, and the United States team at that time wasn't well funded. That they didn't have good equipment really. I mean, these guys were skating circles around them, and just it shows what coaching can do. It shows in team sports there is that we think it's predictable, especially in the gambling world, Jeff. We like to lean on that, but we talk about it all the time. We're not going to hit every bet. There are things in sports that are just impossible to predict, and that's why we watch them. I mean, teams that are the worst one year end up winning the Super Bowl the next year. And in this hockey tournament, sometimes the best team wins. I think going into it, the United States was a little underrated. Our goalie, we talked about, we put a bet out at plus 200 before the tournament started. Hellebuck, probably the best goalie in the world, right? I mean, I know his NHL season isn't off to a great start, but, that's neither here nor there. That Hughes, Jeff, what is there a better defenseman in the world? This guy is an amazing offensive weapon. He skates like I was texting with some jabronis, and I said, I think when we go 3-on-3, maybe we kind of even things out here a little bit. Hughes gets some ice time or gets a little bit more ice space. And that, what could we ask for better, Jeff? That guy's missing teeth. How many millions has that kid made? Where's the Wheaties bucks? I'm so happy for him, Jeff. And then the whole story, with the Gradeau brothers and bringing the kids out there, and that's not too far from me. I mean, we're about a half hour away from where those kids grew up, and I know a lot of guys that play with them. And when's that movie's made, Jeff? We should be writing this script. I don't know if somebody probably has the rights to it, possibly, but FFSN legal team, if you're listening, let's buy the script. Let's write this movie. That thing should be rolling out. I don't think the United States Winter Olympics has ever been better. I think we won the most golds, women's, men's hockey, the men's hockey being the cherry on top of the sundae there. What an emotional win to start off a Sunday. No school here, Jeff. We're off all week. The kids up there playing games probably Monday, Tuesday out. So maybe we'll get back tomorrow. But let's keep celebrating, Jeff. We got Slapshot going. What more? You got to be watching hockey at this point.
Absolutely.
I think I played street hockey more than any sport in my life. I've played just about every sport growing up, Jeff, like you did in the late 70s, 80s. We had Atari, so we were outside. Street hockey, without a doubt, the American sport in the 80s. I don't know if it's still as big. It's not deck hockey or roller or whatever, but putting the goal, taking it out of the garage, having to move it for the cars. And I bet a lot of guys on that team played that growing up. And God bless them. What a way to win the Italians put on a great Olympics, Jeff. What a great Olympics.
Well, I was going to say, let's wrap up the Olympic Games. What was your take of everything, not just the hockey, but also, I know you're a big skier. Obviously, you had the results there, even all the way down to figure skating, curling. We talked about that last week.
Oh, my God.
With the controversy in Canada, ends up winning the gold, I believe. What's your takeaway on the Olympics? Let's wrap it up.
Curling, why aren't we all playing curling? We have stand-up curling along the beach, Jeff, where it's, some sort of big shuffleboard. But the curling, exciting. I wish we would have gambled on that more. I'm glad we didn't, though. It seems addictive and unpredictable. But the skiing, Michaela Schifrin, probably the greatest, well, definitely the greatest women's slalom skier. When we say slalom, the tight flags, one of the greatest skiers in the history of skiing, gets over some mental bugs she had, wins gold, one of the greatest runs ever. Lindsey Vonn, I know we started with tragedy, but to me, what an amazing story. Comes back at 41, tears her ACL, and has one of the worst leg injuries I've ever seen. I mean, that, similar to Tiger Woods, could have been amputated. I think, there's still a little bit of concern with that, but probably not back here in the United States. I'm a great doctor. So 24 pins, but she's not 41 years old. Could have won a gold. You either win or you crash. And I mean, that's the American way, Jeff. Bodie Miller had this same thing. I know our hockey team had this thing. We're going to go for it. And that's why the United States is looked upon around the world as a country people want to be at. We're fun. We go for it, Jeff. And that, at the end of the day, is what separates the United States, whether it be capitalism, sports, entertainment. People go for it. We're going for it right here, Jeff. I got a fire burning behind me. We're going for it. We got Slapshot on. You have to rip the Band-Aid off, and you have to just kind of have no abandon at times. And I think the Olympic athletes in the United States side, we proved that time and time again in every event. And, I love winter sports, Jeff, so I love it's taken off. We need the ski and snowboard community to continue growing, and I can't wait to get back out there. Maybe they'll have an over 50 Olympics, Jeff. Maybe I'll compete next year. Maybe we can put this together, FFSN, with some contributing countries. I don't know, Jeff. Maybe some websites will get involved.
Sounds good. All right, so leaving the hockey, we start now talking about an event which we're getting close, and it's March Madness. NCAA brackets not released yet, but they have put out their first seedings of the season. And this is when you can kind of start to get a feel for where teams might be falling. Now, we'll be doing an entire podcast, a special prior to March Madness that we do every year. Pez has a crazy amount of data as it pertains to when a 1 seed plays this and this, and it's crazy how often they play out. What's your takeaway on the college basketball as we inch our way closer to March Madness?
What's crazy is Duke. How can they continue to just have excellence, Jeff? I know they don't necessarily win the national championship every year, but this team always a number 1, number 2, top 5 team. Michigan, same thing. I mean, we'll go back to the 90s with the Fab Five, and you're playing Bobby Hurley, and an amazing combination of recruiting, I guess, and with this new, kind of paying the athletes, somehow they've gotten by. But Duke and Michigan, cream of the crop every year. Arizona, my wife would disown me, Jeff. I got some Arizona, the University of Arizona shirt on here.
Yeah.
Called the Buffet Bar, Jeff. It's one of the dirtiest bars I've ever been in. Not a window in the place, right around the corner from the campus. So hopefully Arizona Wildcats get there. I'd like to see them win a national championship, and that'd be a lot of fun. Great town, Tucson. But Purdue, Florida, UConn, we got a lot of chalk in this tournament. Having said that, we've done this a few years together. There are seedings that, for whatever reason, create upsets, and that's kind of what we're going to be leaning on a little bit. But this is tough. I mean, when you have college basketball and college sports in general with this kind of escalator of change where you're players coming in and out and coaches, and now in NCAA basketball you can play 1 year and enter into the pros. So tough to kind of get a handle on what a team is until we get down to the tournament. So we'll be punching the numbers, Chef. It's a fun time. We love betting it, that, and that's in the coming weeks. I can't wait.
I always love those fringe teams that either play their way in or they get one of the last seedings in the tournament and they end up winning a few games and everyone's talking about them. Every year it seems to be a different team, but do you have any teams that you're looking for in that regard?
We'd like to, some of those California schools,
yeah,
Cal State Fullerton, or a lot of times you'll get like a Ball State. VCU tends to be a team that can sneak up on people. We're going to have to wait and see the seedings, though. And, when you come up against the number 1 seed, you're very unlikely to beat that team. But covering a 30-point spread sometimes isn't that far off. And when we look at, 215 and going down a little bit from there, you get a little bit more of a better matchup. Sometimes a 15 seed is a very good underrated team that plays in the small league, maybe comes in number 2. So we'll have it all punched up, Jeff, and the underdogs will be coming, and it's going to require a lot of work, but that's what the coffee's for, Jeff. You got to have coffee, and I know you drink it black like I do, Jeff. I think any real coffee drink, you got to have black coffee, especially around March Madness. You got to keep it. We're getting into the summertime, right? We got to get the golf shape going here too.
Oh, absolutely. When does that tournament start? Do you know the date for when March Madness actually begins? It's not like the beginning of March. It's more towards the middle. I know that.
I think we're
a few weeks away, I believe.
Yeah, probably. I think it's going to be about March 8th, maybe March 7th, something along those lines. Maybe a week early there, Jeff.
All right. So next week we might have a little bit more of an idea as to what we have to work with. We'll talk about that. But let's go to the NBA, staying with basketball, but going to the professional game. You've been dabbling in your NBA picks. How have those been going?
We're above water right now, Jeff, and that's happy. We're 9-7. Not something we're going to buy, we're going to bank our mortgage on, but a respectable record. NBA is tough. We've got teams, and they're talking about it right now. This is the last year you're going to be able to just admittedly tank a season. I think Utah is doing that as we speak. The Nets probably are in a way, possibly the Pacers as well. So, and then you get in the Western Conference, the Jazz and the Kings. I mean, there's no doubt are tanking games, and they're pulling starters after third quarter. So that's not illegal in the NBA. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to cover a spread. We're kind of pissed ourselves. We were looking at Houston hosting the Utah Jazz on on Monday night, and we chickened out of that one, 13.5 points, but we should have, Jeff. They end up losing by 20. So you're kind of balancing effort, and that's a tough thing. Tough to judge how much a team is going to tank, how much are they going to play the starters, and the NBA needs to do something about this. The league's credibility is without a doubt been unveiled. I mean, it has no credibility. There's going to be a handful of teams from now till whenever the regular season ends, April, that are going to tank games. And as a gambler, that's something that we can't accept, and it's something that is kind of hard to put into a system. And there's no data how much is a team going to tank. So we're trying to balance that out. I think it's better when you're betting against two competitive teams. We got burned on Sunday night. We had a great game with the Knicks, and sometime or on Saturday night, Knicks Houston. We ended up losing by about a point, missed free throw at the end. But when you're betting on teams that are leading their divisions or competing for a championship, still you at least know you're getting effort, and that's something that unfortunately has happened to the NBA. And they got to do something, Jeff. I don't know. We talked a couple weeks ago about relegating teams that tank. I think they're going to find them. They're going to change the way draft picks are allotted, and they got to do something at this point.
Yeah, and the answer is the tough part. How do you actually rectify the situation? You're not going to relegate, although that would be an easy fix. But at the same time, you have to think about, okay, they do the lottery system. How do you get people away from tanking? We'll see. But NBA picks, you can get those on Pez'sPicks.com. Go to the website. You can log in. And again, we're going to have March Madness plays. You look at, like, I've done this with Pez for several years now. NFL and college football is obviously the creme de la creme, so to speak. Basketball, college basketball tournament, that is another big one for us. And we're getting ready also for some big time golf. I'm going to start dabbling in golf plays. That scares me a little bit as someone that does this on a weekly basis.
What another great tournament last week, Jeff.
Yes.
Long shot. I don't know what this kid's odds are. It had to be like plus 10,000.
Bridgman was in contention the week prior, so I doubt they were that long, but I'm sure it was over plus 6,000.
Oh, so he's this kid. So he was probably top 100 ranked in the world. I'm guessing.
I would imagine, yeah.
Probably thousands the one though you were getting. That 18th? You watched it, I know, Jeff.
Yeah.
That was like watching a major. Him making that final putt that he laid up is he's kind of trying to two putt to win, and what did he lay about 5 feet short?
Yep.
I've been there, Jeff. When I got three other guys watching me, and we're playing for like $1 a hole or something. I was so happy for him. Golf has a tension that probably is comparable to the Olympics in some ways. That you're out there, you're alone. For this guy, he wins this tournament. Your life's changed. I mean, you get 2 years. You're on the tour. You're in every major. God knows how much sponsorship money. So I love watching the golf for that tension, Jeff. And it's something I don't think you get in team sports as much. You have nobody else to lean on. Your caddy, maybe. This guy's caddy was nowhere to be seen. He was ghosting his face in that sun lotion, but he was at no time is he helping him read putts, going out there giving a little fist bump, and I respect that, Jeff. What a stud this kid is, and we could have used him on that Ryder Cup, I guess, last year.
Well, I'm not going to go that far to the Ryder Cup, but I mean, he had at one point a 7-stroke lead on Sunday and choked it away. I mean, he was trying to play uber conservative. And what was really disappointing for me is that no one was really coming from behind to put pressure on him. He's playing with Rory McIlroy, and you're thinking, okay, Rory's going to make a run. He's going to make this interesting. And he did, making that long birdie putt on 18, but that was after the fact, and that was to get into a tie for second place. He earned himself an extra $600,000, mind you. But Scotty's first round issues continue to plague him, and he wasn't a factor. I mean, it was amazing. He barely made the cut and finishes tied for 12th, which is pretty remarkable. But I wanted someone to really pressure Bridgman and not him just pressuring himself, which is what I felt happened. But still, a fantastic tournament. We've had back-to-back signature events. I don't know why they do that. This week, the Cognizant is not a good field. Everyone's taking this week off. Because they're even guys like Ben Griffin are withdrawing because they want to take the week off. They're going to come back the following week, which is the Players. And so they're going to get ready for the Players Championship. I don't know I think that the state of the PGA Tour is strong right now. I think that people are watching, people are tuning in. They're more curious than they have been.
It seems like maybe the live attention has brought more fans back to the game. And these guys maybe jump in and all this talk about it. A guy, Jeff, that I have to mention, Adam Scott. We saw on Sunday. This guy could have ever gotten a putting lesson or whatever. I mean, if he putt like he did on Sunday, which wasn't, I mean, probably what a typical pro would putt. Probably the greatest golfer of all time. He's going to be 46. He's still probably 50, 55 in the world. He's been around. I mean, I feel like this guy's been around my whole life. Maybe the greatest golf swing ever, and maybe the worst putter ever. Goes out, shoots a 63. Rounds prior 72, 63, and 70. So when he's putting, he would be unbeatable. I mean, he probably is going to go down as Hall of Fame golfer who probably left 10 majors out there, right? I love watching him. Great guy, tough dude, Butch Harmon's swing, and I think Butch said he copied Tiger's swing. If Tiger would have kept his swing, he would have won 30 majors, right? So I love watching him, and that's what's great about the game. Bridgman probably could be Adam Scott's son, and they're out there competing still. And I wish somebody would have pushed them too. I kind of talking with some of my local hacker buddies. I think Riviera wouldn't be a tough course for an average golfer because you're going to be probably 50 yards short of every green. They're uphill. You're going to stay out of trouble. Probably a course to break 90 way easier than a course to break 70. Where these guys, they're hitting that ball 330 yards and it's getting into trouble. I love it. Quirky course. We need more like them. Distance doesn't guarantee winning. And I think golf's kind of get back to that old traditional country club design. Jeff, maybe next year we get the FFSN CEO to rent one of those houses on the course. They don't look too expensive. I think Lionel Richie has a house. Well, why not? We'll do a 4-day session out there before we send this KT Smith to the combine. I think he's going again. I think he's trying out, Jeff. Ever since we saw Phillip Rivers come back, KT Smith's been working the shoulder a little bit. I was with him this weekend. We might see him out there. Maybe another Disney movie we're writing in this episode.
There you go.
Jeff.
Well, I do want to say that the rumors for next golf season, is that the California swing, which normally consists of Torrey Pines, Pebble Beach, and then obviously Riviera Country Club, they are going to be pushing those back to August as a part of the playoffs. I freaking love that. I would much rather see them play it when it's a little bit more difficult. It's not as damp. It's not as soft. I think that they're going to, next year's tournament schedule is going to look really different compared to what we're used to seeing. And so that's going to be exciting, but it is crazy too when you look at what's coming up. I mean, the Masters is less than 50 days away. The first major. I'm ready. I'm ready for spring, man. I'm ready to get out and golf myself. There's still snow on the ground.
We were almost played this Saturday, but we had a little bit of rain into last week, and the ground. That's the incredible disappearing ball, Jeff. I know you've played this where you knock one in the middle of the fairway and it disappears. It goes into the sludge. So we backed off, but the Masters, if we could get another Tiger run, guy's yoked, Jeff. This guy, who knows what he's taking, but he's still yoked. We might have one more major, Jeff. Let's keep the dream alive. We got one more major with that guy. British Open's going to be great. We've got the U.S. Open that's going to be, who knows who's going to win some of these tournaments. And I think Jon Rahm's kicking himself a little bit. I wish he was back out there. We miss that guy, a perennial powerhouse, and rotting away on that stupid live tour. I can't wait for Patrick Reed. Will he be? I guess he won't. He'll be in the majors, right? He still has his exemption, so we'll see him.
He'll be in the majors, and he'll be allowed to return to the PGA Tour in, I think, August of this year. Fantastic. He can come back because it's a year removed from his last live golf event, and because he's a past champion. But I still think, people were talking about the Players Championship and how it's the 5th major. I don't think it needs to be called the 5th major. What I think the Players should do is invite those live guys to the tournament. Just invite them. Invite Bryson, get Rahm, get Tyrell Hatton over here. You don't need your Sergio Garcias fooling around. Get those guys back out there, and then let's make it. That's a full field event, and that's going to feel a hell of a lot like a major. I think that Rory McIlroy, actually, and I can't stand the guy, but I think he actually had a good point when he asked about what needs to happen. He said, I think they need to take the PGA Championship and move it to the end of the year again. And he called it your last run at greatness, meaning it was your last chance to win a major. And he said, give it a little bit of personality. Because right now it's always 4th on everyone's list of their favorite majors. But
well, Rory, speaking to him, I think we're going to see a big year. And, as a poker player, Jeff, I'm studying everything about somebody. And there's a great gambling movie on Netflix right now. I believe it's called Mississippi Grind. I should know the name, but Ryan Reynolds and some kind of lesser known actor, and they go on a poker run. And it's a fantastic, very difficult to watch as a gambler movie, but you're studying the person, you're studying everything about them, their shoulders, how they touch their face, if they're bluffing, what have you. Rory, for 10 years, doped around, dropping the shoulders, and he missed shot. I mean, it could have been the first shot. Like I'm perfect. That's gone, Jeff. This guy's got that little. When he was chubby, I liked him better. Little chubby bounce in his step. He's not huffing and puffing about every shot. I think Rory McIlroy is going to be tough to beat. I hope Scheffler kind of has, a Tiger Phil kind of thing going with him starting this year. We need it because Scheffler, we talked about it a tiny bit, doesn't play well on this course. Every week he's top 10. Jeff, we should just be betting our houses every week. He's going to be a top 10. Did he? Might have finished 12th. So we probably
tied for 12. Tied for 12.
All right, we would have lost our houses, but every week, Jeff, we should do the double down roulette. It's going to happen. Fantastic golfer, and I don't know, Jeff. I like these weird tournaments this week. We'll have to, but the Cognizant, that's coming to Florida.
It's PGA West. That's a Jack Nicklaus design. It's got the Bear Trap, which I think is 15, 16, and 17, a three-hole series. It's always fun to watch. I just watched a video this morning of Arnold Palmer back when he was 71. He shot his age in an actual event at this PGA National Club. It's incredible.
One of the greatest Americans ever, that Palmer. Is Ricky Fowler playing this week? If he is, Jeff, I'm taking. We'll take Fowler. I'm trying to flip through. I can't really see too well anymore.
It's a bad field. Like I said, they don't have any top 25 golfers in the official world golf rankings playing. Shane Lowry was the odds-on favorite at plus 1,900 the last I saw.
You go from Pebble and Riviera to alligators on the golf course, which is awesome, Jeff. We should have gators on. We should have deadly animals on every golf course. I mean, that would maybe add to the pleasure too.
Maybe. All right, Pez, you ready for your top 5?
Jeff, top 5 of the week. The number one's obviously the Olympic. Men's Olympic hockey win, women's Olympic hockey win as well. So that's really our number one. We're going to start with number 5, Jeff, so we can get into some fun stuff. It's going to be everybody's number one this week. So Pez's picks, top 5 of the week. Number 1/number 5, hockey, gold. Both teams love you. We talked about them. Number 4, Jeff, the Swiss Army knife. When you're sitting around your house locked in during snow days, you'd be shocked how many uses the Swiss Army knife has. Putting together, some sort of cabinets my wife's buying that I don't know where they're going to go. Maybe the kids got some video game issues. Swiss Army knife, everybody should have one. Number 4. Number 3, Jeff, the greatest piece of equipment any golfer could have, the Adidas rain pants. And if they're listening, sure, we'll take a sponsor, Jeff. The Adidas rain pants, I've got an incredible amount of Everest-rated ski equipment, but that's all in Vermont. So when it snows in New Jersey, I put the winter rain pants on. Fantastic, water resistant. They might be better than ski pants. I might ski them this week, Jeff. Number 2, we've got the London Howlin' Wolf Sessions, Jeff. This one's for you. We did some record shopping this week. One of the greatest records I've never heard of that I've heard now. You've got Eric Clapton, Steve Winwood, Bill Wyman, Charlie Watts, all sitting in with the man himself, Howlin' Wolf. You can hear the Rolling Stones copying this guy's songs when you're listening to this. Fantastic album, Howlin' Wolf. We love them. Number 1, Jeff, for any person that lives in anywhere with snow, you need a good shovel. The plastic shovel is an atrocity to shoveling and moving, whether it be water, snow, dirt, what have you. Jeff, you got to go with the Razorback, which I believe is we've got it in front of the screen here. It's taking my whole head up. Look at this thing, Jeff. You can't even see me behind this thing. Some sort of metal. I'm not a metallurgist, so I'm guessing that's aluminum or something. I got this at Tractor Supply. I believe it's a corral shovel. You wouldn't believe – I was a human plow yesterday, Jeff. Number 1, the Razorback, which I guess is a corral for manure or shovel for snow. Get on in America. Number 1, Pez's pick of the winter, Razorback shovel. Tractor Supply, I love you, whatever store that was in. Listen to that, Jeff. That's American aluminum. Well, maybe not, but it probably is, Jeff.
All right. What a great way to finish the show. All right, Pez, any final thoughts or are you good?
Combine, Jeff, go Birds. It's almost NFL. Let's get going here. All right. Let's get going. Jalen Hurts, MVP next year. Lock it up on that, Jeff.
All right.
Let's get the people crazy.
All right. Enjoy your weekend, Pez. We'll talk next week. Take it easy.
See you.